I going home for?
Frank, you're wrong. She hasn't lost interest in you. It's foolish to be jealous. It's your own fun you're spoiling. As the dance is drawing to a close, and it is time to say goodnight to the sponsors, everyone seems to have had a good time, except Frank. The dancing hasn't worked out as he and Margaret hoped, but Jerry and Helen are at fault too. They have allowed Frank and Margaret to become jealous. Of course, they aren't justified. Margaret made the mistake of trying to be too entertaining. Frank allowed his fears to make him wooden. People never like to blame themselves, so they blame others. All that either needs to do is to learn how to be natural and talk of what is interesting to the other person as well as to himself. Meanwhile, a good deal of the fun has gone out of the evening. Even though Margaret pretends that nothing has happened and all is well. Naturally, we all learn through experience, but that is usually the long and the hard way. Being hurt so often, if we realize that our social lives are filled with problems of etiquette, and that these must be studied. We must observe our own behavior, compare it with what is proper, and be certain that our habits are correct. Jerry's example in suggesting to Margaret a dish that she might like is one that Frank might follow. As he finally realizes, since it tells Helen in a nice way how much he can afford to spend. This saves embarrassment all around. At last, Jerry is becoming aware that Frank and Margaret are not having a good time. He doesn't ignore the situation, but brings the problem out into the open. Margaret and Frank are forced to admit their own foolishness. After all, Helen and Jerry had simply been at ease during the dance and enjoyed themselves. They hadn't been any the less interested in their partners. There was absolutely no reason for jealousy. You notice that Frank is becoming more alert. He orders for Helen correctly. And maybe we can that he has decided to turn over a new leaf. This way is more fun. The meal has been happy, and now that the mistakes that have been discovered won't be repeated, and those that haven't yet been discovered will come to light as they pay more attention to their manners. But already they have learned some valuable lessons, Frank particularly. He has learned to begin with that he shouldn't let his fears stop him from asking for the date in the first place, and that he should ask right away, not fret about it. He is glad now that he learned a little more about selecting a corsage and about how he should dress. He has still to learn how to be easy during introductions and in making ordinary conversations. But you saw that he was quick to pay the bill, including a 10% tip, and that he found it pleasant to help Helen with her wrap. On the way home, there are no problems. They are happy in knowing that this is just the beginning of happy times ahead. Jerry not only sees Margaret home, but opens the door for her. And then, well, they've been going steady for some time now, and there are some customs that are very enjoyable. But now Frank has a new problem. Should he try on a first date? He makes certain that he helps Helen from the car correctly. She waited properly for him to come around the car. He sees her to her door and thanks her for having gone out with him.
lightening the world. For I lift the lamp beside the golden door.
This is Bob Baggs, Marketing Manager, Radio and Victrola Division of RCA Victor.
What you're going to hear about today is nothing short of a miracle. It's dramatically new. It's an RCA Victor exclusive, made possible only through years of research, inventions, and innovations. Living stereo, played on a record, through the all-new 2-in-1 RCA Victor stereo orthophonic high-fidelity Victrolas. In this speaker, you can hear the left-hand section of the orchestra predominating. In this one, the right-hand section predominates. And together, they give us the fullness of living stereo. Two separate and distinct soundtracks. One from one side of the orchestra for one speaker system. Another track from the other side of the orchestra for the second speaker system. Yet both are coming from one record, one groove, picked up by one stylus. Almost like playing two different tunes on the same violin at the same time. To understand how this can be done, let's first recall how regular one-track recording is accomplished. Sound waves reaching the microphone are changed into impulses of electric current. Increased in strength by the amplifier, they flow to the cutting head, moving it back and forth and cutting from side to side in the groove of the record. To play it back, we substitute a stylus for the cutting head. The tip of the stylus swerves back and forth, side to side in the groove, bending the ceramic bar to which the stylus is attached. When a ceramic bar is bent, tiny impulses of electric current are produced. These impulses of current, again strengthened by an amplifier, are carried to the speaker, where they are converted back into sound, the same sound we had at first. Now let's compare a regular record groove having only one soundtrack with the revolutionary new living stereo groove having two separate soundtracks. The soundtrack made by one section of the orchestra is on this side of the groove, while the soundtrack from the other section of the orchestra is on the other side. To play it, we use a special stereo pickup developed, designed, and most important, manufactured by the Radio and Victrola Division of RCA. In this pickup, the stylus is fastened to two ceramic bars instead of one. As the tip of the stylus moves to the right, it bends the bar on the left, producing impulses of current. As it moves to the left, it bends the bar on the right, again producing current. Now let's take another look at our living stereo record groove with its two separate soundtrack impressions, one on each side. In cross-section, it looks like this. A V-shaped groove, 45 degrees on each side. Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove. As the record turns, the right side of the group
and engine cabs of streamlined trains, lightweight and attractive in appearance. The stout tubular frameworks of airplanes are welded, as are countless other parts, from fuel tanks to landing gears. Such welding is carefully inspected, and if you choose welding as your life work, it will be worth your while to work hard to qualify yourself as an inspector. There are many welding jobs in shipyards. Large hull sections can be welded together in shops, then hauled and hoisted to the ways and welded into a complete hull. Because no rivet holes are necessary, welding is stronger than riveting. Weight, which can be saved by using lighter plates and by eliminating rivets, increases the ship's carrying capacity. Members are welded in constructing large buildings, skyscrapers, bridges, and other engineering projects in place of riveting them. If you like outdoor work, this offers an interesting job in the welding field, as do many other types of job welding. Pipeline welding should also interest you. Welding crews travel across the country, welding lengths of pipe together. This work, too, is carefully inspected, and you will have to pass special welding tests before you can do pipeline welding, or weld any other high-pressure equipment, such as steam pipes or boilers. New applications of welding are continually being employed in many industries, and as a result, the welding field will probably continue to grow. For the welding operator who develops real skill, there are good opportunities.
Light is magic. There is magic in the way it is created, in the way it travels, the way it behaves. And beyond the magic of light itself, there is the magic of science, finding new and amazing uses for light, the life giver. Sunlight is a mixture of several different kinds of light. Most familiar is the visible light, the kind of light we see and see by. Then, as modern sun worshippers know, sunshine contains an invisible form of light called ultraviolet. Ultraviolet light produces tan skins and those healthy little things called vitamins. Science has learned how to produce this invisible form of light artificially. And now, without leaving our homes, we can turn winter into summer. The scientific ultraviolet light generator is arranged to remove all of the visible light and project a strong beam of invisible black magic light. One of the most amazing things about ultraviolet light is its ability to help us see things which by ordinary light are impossible to see. The radiations of pure ultraviolet light produce a strange effect called fluorescence. Fluorescence is a glow such as is found in the figures of an illuminated clock dial. Many different chemicals respond to the radiations of ultraviolet light. Different chemicals seem to respond with a different glow. This fluorescent effect makes it possible to read many secret or hidden messages. The ink with which the hidden message is written seems to glow under the magic rays. By the same principle on altered documents, erasures and changes may be brought out so that the attempted alteration is clearly visible. Mixed in with the visible sunlight and the ultraviolet light is another magic light that our eyes cannot see, but which we can feel as heat. These invisible rays of heat, which form so large a part of sunshine, have been given the name infrared light. Infrared light has no visual effect on our eyes. So in order to see its results, we must use
enjoy today. Day and night, research chemists like this fellow pursued a dream of new, exciting, completely different synthetic fibers. It's quite a dream, quite a story. If I get a little too technical, will someone please ring a bell? You see, for the first time since creation, men were going back to the elements to create a molecule. So soon? I'll start over. Beginning with pure chemicals, scientists, researchers, chemists stole a leaf from the silkworm and literally spun new kinds of threads. Threads and fibers that had to measure up to all the desirable qualities of resilience, that is to hold or return to original shape, softness, lightweight, strength, durability, and resistance to weather. At first, slowly, then with a speed almost too swift to follow, the magic of modern chemistry rocketed us into a new world of modern fabrics. Continuous, exciting technological discoveries gave us such man-made fibers as rayon and acetate, and such synthetics as nylon, acrylan, dacron, orlon, beryl, cresslan, dynel, zephyrum, and many others, including the new resin-treated cottons. Of all these, however, the big three soon proved to be nylon, dacron, and orlon. Why? Because they measured up to every expectation for their basic reason for being. Take that young fellow. Wears a suit of dacron. Washable, doesn't wrinkle easily, holds its shape better than wool. His girlfriend wears a sweater of orlon. Soft, with a luxurious feel, lightweight, yet warm and weather resistant. And Peeping Tom has a nylon jacket. Very light, yet it holds its shape because of its elasticity. Not only lightweight, but plenty tough. Oops, watch out, son. Yes, a fiber so strong that many a paratrooper, many an airman owes his life to a nylon parachute. Well, no one of these modern fibers meets all our clothing needs. But when we married them with the age-old natural fibers, we raised a brand new family of fabrics with greater strength, resilience, and new versatility. More important, these complementary blends meant that more and more clothing items could use new man-made fibers. A few, for example. Suits and shirts of dacron with cotton, silk, or wool. Soft finish flannels, tweeds, skirts, and cashmere-like sweaters made with orlon. Women's attractive blouses and sheer lingerie, fashioned from nylon, as well as a combination of other synthetic and natural fibers. All these enjoy greater freedom from wrinkles. Many feature permanently set creases or fashionable pleats. How's it done? Well, let's go back to the laboratory. You see, all true synthetic fibers are thermoplastic. Sorry, I'll try to make it simple. It means heat simply softens the fibers so they can be molded and remolded. This is nylon. Remember, the fibers are strong, yet soft, pliable, resilient, or elastic. That's why if you muss them up, they tend to return to their original shape. That's right. Wrinkles in modern fibers like to go back where they came from. Or, as clothing makers say, wrinkle resistant. Now, when you wash modern fibers, you actually help to banish wrinkles as the fabric seeks its original shape. Know why? Water and detergent, sure. They help the slippery fibers slide smoothly back to their wrinkle-free state. Those little nylon fibers are plastic only when hot. So that's the critical time when wear wrinkles tend to scoot back home, or new wrinkles might appear. Heat does the job of keeping the fabric free of wrinkles if, and it's a mighty big if, the fibers are not cooled off too quickly. Let's do an experiment. There's a temperature higher than I've mentioned so far, when fiber resiliency disappears and the fabric can be molded